Today we are going to be rebuilding the Baltimore Ravens, who, in my opinion, were the most unlucky team last year, losing, I believe, every single starter at some point during the year. Now, don't quote me on that, but I believe every day one starter on this team went down at some point in the season. But luckily, there are no injuries here, and this is a very, very good roster. Now, obviously, they no longer have Marquise Brown. They traded him away to the Arizona Cardinals, but they have a player who I think can be better than Marquise Brown, Hollywood Brown, and that is Rashad Bateman. Coming out of Minnesota, I thought he was similar to someone like Keenan Allen almost, in just how good his routes were, and he's a better fit for this offense. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see Rashad Bateman as a top 20 receiver by the end of the year. And if you enjoyed today's video, be sure to drop a like, a sub, and turn on notifications for my channel. And if you do all those three things, go down and comment what team you want me to do next. And if I pick your comment, I'll shout you out and go tell people to sub to you. So it's a win-win. I get a sub, you get subs, you know? That's all I'm saying. But yeah, just in general, be sure to sub to my channel because I put a ton of effort into these videos. And if you didn't notice, these are my custom rosters, which will be released in the next about month or so. I'm still making a lot of the rookies, but they are my custom ratings for rookies and regular NFL players, or players that were already in the NFL. But let's get a breakdown of this roster. So the main thing I don't like about this team, the only thing I really do not like about this team, I mean, let me see real quick. Yeah, it's really the only thing I don't like about this team is the receiving core. Now, luckily, this is like the most run-heavy offense in the entire NFL by quite a bit. You have a quarterback who runs more than any quarterback in the NFL, maybe in history, but I don't know about that one. You have a lot of good running backs here, and assuming they don't all get injured again like last year, this should be a good running offense. So it kind of alleviates how bad the receiving core is. But like I was saying, you do have Rashad Bateman, who I think can be a very good receiver this year, and I do expect him to be one. They also do have Devin Duvernay. That's a lot of D's in that sentence, just like with your mother. But yeah, I'm a big fan of Devin Duvernay. He hasn't broken out like I expected him to. I like James Prochet. I like Tylan Wallace. Looking at this offensive line, it is a great group. Obviously adding Tyler Linderbaum. I believe this was their pick with the Marquise Brown trade, so he is a very good center. I don't know why he slipped into the 20s. I thought he was like a top 5 player in the class. It's just he's a smaller center, so they have a very good and very deep group. Obviously Ronnie Stanley, I believe he was out all of last year. He's one of the best tackles in the NFL. I'm surprised he's not brought up in that conversation more. It just seems when players get injured, they get forgotten, I guess, and don't get talked about as much, which is kind of obvious, but I feel like he still should be respected as a top tackle in the NFL. You have Juwan James, who hasn't played in, I believe, like 4 seasons. He was a very good tackle for the Dolphins, like in 2017 or 18 or something. Patrick McCarry, now from what I've seen of him, he's looked good and the stats kind of back that up, but Ravens fans, let me know, is Patrick McCarry good? I think he's better than Alejandro Villanueva was for them. Morgan Moses, he's been a very underrated tackle for a while now, and they just kind of stole him for like $5 million a year. He's a massive dude. And speaking of massive dudes, I forgot to give him a dev trait. I'll do that soon, but Daniel Falele out of Minnesota, he's 6'9", 380 pounds. He is a massive player. The interior O-line is solid, but leaves a little to be desired. I still do like Kevin Zeitler. The tight end room is great. I love Charlie Kolar. He's kind of like he's like Travis Kelce a little bit, but not as good in every category. He's a little worse at everything than Travis Kelce is, but I would take that 100%. Nick Boyle's a solid blocking tight end. He's fine. And then Mark Andrews he's like the 3rd best tight end in the NFL. Looking at the defense here, the safety core is very, very good. Again, I forgot to give Kyle Hamilton a dev trait, but don't worry, I will. But Marcus Williams is one of my favorite safeties in the NFL. He's still only 24, 20, I think he's 25 now. I don't know what number he's going to wear here, but that's definitely not right. He's going to wear 32, okay. I'll maybe change that. I don't know if I care though, but he's one of my favorite safeties in the league, one of the more underrated safeties in the league, like pure cover safety. Obviously had that bad play against the Minnesota Vikings where Stephon Diggs absolutely roasted him, but that was in his rookie year, his like first playoff game ever, and he is just an amazing safety. Chuck Clark is okay. I believe he had a pretty bad year last year, but the couple years before then, he was great. Kyle Hamilton, I was actually higher on than most people. He's a very, very smart player. He's just not super athletic, but his ball skills, and I would say mechanics almost are just great. He just lacks in athleticism. And Tony Jefferson, he sat as a free agent forever, and I was like, why is nobody even giving him a chance? And the Ravens give him a chance, and he was actually pretty good. I don't know why players kind of fall out of favor like that, but I do like him. This corner room is great. Obviously, drafting Jalen Armour-Davis this year, I need to give him a dev trait too. I don't know why I forgot to do all those. They just signed Kyle Fuller, who had a pretty bad year last year, but the year before that, I think it was the year before that, he was an All-Pro or something like that. I don't know, he had a very good year. I expect them to be able to fix him. Marcus Peters was injured last year, but he's a very good ball hawking corner. But he's also solid in coverage, so I like him. Marlon Humphrey, not necessarily a ball hawk, but he does force a lot of turnovers, and he is pretty good in coverage, so I'm a Marlon Humphrey fan. This D-line is great. Derek Wolfe, Michael Pierce they just re-signed. He was with the Vikings for a couple years, and I don't even know if he played much at all, and now he's back. I clicked on Isaiah Mack. I didn't mean to. I meant to click on Travis Jones. I believe he was their 3rd round pick out of UConn. It's a weak DT group, but he was probably one of the best in the group, so I liked that pick. Again, I have to give him a dev trait. Justin Madubuike and Calais Campbell is still an amazing player. Getting up there in age, I believe he's already 35, but he's still a great player. Tyus Bowser and Odafe Owe are going to be their starting edge rushers. I do like Vince Beagle. I like that pickup. He's kind of like a hybrid linebacker like the Patriots would use, and I see him as an amazing fit here. If he gets on the field, I could see him having a breakout year. And David Ojabo was a great pick. Unfortunately, tore his Achilles, I believe, but once he gets on the field, I believe he'll be a stud here, just an absolute monster. This linebacking room is kind of weak. Josh Bynes is a very underrated player in my opinion, but he is older. They had LJ Fort, who I also thought was underrated, but they lose him. And Patrick Queen has been kind of a bust, which surprises me, but he still could break out this year. It's not like he's still only like 23. It's not like his career's over. It's just he hasn't been as good as he could be. Probably gonna have a breakout year this year. We'll see. But overall, man, this team is amazing. Obviously, can't forget. Oh, Sam Cook retired. I'm gonna have to delete him, unfortunately. But Justin Tucker, the best kicker, maybe of all time, but definitely currently. It's more shocking when he misses than any kicker in the NFL. So I think that's kind of a testament to how good he is. But yeah, overall, this team is fucking amazing. They had one of the best drafts out of any team. And let's get into year number 1 of the rebuild. Here is a look at the team going into year number 1 of the rebuild. No real changes at all, other than we're starting Tyree Phillips at left guard just because he's younger and he has star dev. Patrick Queen is going to be our number 1 linebacker this year, and Kyle Hamilton is going to be our number 1 strong safety. And him and Patrick Queen are going to be splitting reps at sub linebackers, so it'll kind of be a big rotation of players here. But luckily we do have good depth at both positions, so I think that could be better for us in the long run. We're going to be playing Travis Jones as a number 2 DT. And yeah, just overall not many changes, but some interesting youth decisions, I guess. We're going to try and play younger players, obviously. But hopefully we can have a good year 1, and I will see you guys at the mid-season point. Alright, so I actually did a wee bit of lying. We're actually going to trade Juwan James back to the Denver Broncos here. We really don't need Juwan James at all. I just threw him up on the trade block. He wouldn't have really gotten any playing time. I mean, we have a younger player in front of him who is the same overall pretty much, and a younger player behind him with a good dev trait, so he wasn't really going to do much for us. He wasn't really going to play at all. So we kind of just got a free 3rd round pick. I won't complain. Alright, and we're actually going to trade Morgan Moses away too. Again, we don't need him. He's older. He's not as good as the players that are around him. He is a good tackle in real life, but here we just don't need him at all. We're going to trade him to Pittsburgh for a 3rd, a 5th, and a 7th next year. And we actually do have a breakout here. I want to see who this is. Odafe Owe. Ooh. This has been a really weird start to this rebuild. I apologize. There have been a lot of just weird things happening. This is a very rushed rebuild, if you couldn't tell. So we'll see if he can get that against Denver. No, we're not playing Denver. Against the Colts, different horse team, I guess. And we have some re-signings here. Actually, I'll just address re-signings at the mid-season point, which is where I will finally see you guys. At the midseason point of year number 1, we're only 3-4. I thought we were going to be very good this year, but we're really not. We're below average at best, just like me. In terms of re-signings here, I am going to re-sign Clay. Oh, that's really expensive. I might just tag him, to be honest. I'm going to lower this a lot, and then at the end of the year, I will franchise tag him because I think it will be cheaper. Patrick Ricard or Ricard, I don't know which it is. I've heard both. One of the best fullbacks in the league, but he's being a bit of a hoe here. Tyler Huntley, I'm not going to re-sign. We literally don't need him. He's a backup QB. The rest of the players are just depth pieces. This is not bad in terms of re-signing. An old DT, our fullback, a backup safety, an old linebacker, a backup QB, and some more backups back there, and I guess a starting punter. That's not bad at all. And since we're doing bad, I'm just going to trade away Kyle Fuller. We don't really have much hope this year. I'm doing a lot more trading at the beginning of this one, but we'll send him to Minnesota for a third next year. I don't know if it's unrealistic how much I'm trading, but to be honest, I don't care. I kind of don't. We do have a lot of upgrades here. I'll just auto do those, and I will see you guys at the end of year number 1. At the end of year number 1, we unfortunately do miss the playoffs, going 8-9. Now that's kind of the theme with my rebuilds I'm seeing. Year number 1 we're bad, year number 2 we're really bad, and then year number 3 we either make the playoffs or win the Super Bowl. So I kind of expected this, even though we have a very good team. I didn't expect Madden Sim to be realistic, so we'll hit it back up next year, and hopefully we can make the playoffs. But let's get into the off season. We have some work to do, for sure. Oh, okay, so I was gonna tag Calais Campbell, but it looks like he just retired. We'll re-sign Patrick Ricard. I guess that makes sense that he retired. I mean, he was getting up there, for sure. Josh Bynes, we're probably not going to re-sign. So it looks like we're going to be letting a lot of these players go, but let's check the season stats. I believe I saw that, yeah, the New Orleans Saints won the Super Bowl, beating the Buffalo Bills. I don't know about that one, but we'll see if the Saints can make it. I doubt they can, but the Bills make sense. But let's check these stats. Lamar was not that good. 3,700 yards, 33 touchdowns, but 18 picks is kind of a lot. Other than that, though, he had a pretty good year. In terms of rushing, J.K. Dobbins with almost 1,200 yards and 7 touchdowns, only 2 fumbles. 4 yards per carry on the dot isn't phenomenal, but it's not bad. Better than Najee Harris. Sorry, Saints fans. Lamar was pretty good in the run game too, with 700 yards and 5 touchdowns. I'm glad Lamar actually gets rushing stats in this game now. Devin Duvernay, wow, with 1,111 yards and 11 touchdowns. 1,11111. That's insane. I've never seen that before. What the hell? That's really cool. Rashad Bateman almost had 1,000 yards too, putting up 8 touchdowns. Mark Andrews puts up 700 yards and 6 touchdowns. James Prochet with almost 600 yards and 7 touchdowns. Charlie Collard did get about 100 yards too, which is cool. In terms of blocking, the tackles weren't amazing, but not too bad. Tyler Linderbaum was meh, and the guards were amazing this year, only letting up a sack each. Very cool. Looking at the defense here, Kyle Hamilton led the team in tackles with 103 yards. He also had 3 tackles for loss, a sack, a pick, 5 pass deflections, and 2 forced fumbles. Maybe Defensive Rookie of the Year, but we'll see. In terms of tackles for loss, Odafe Owe with 17, Tyus Bowser with 16, Michael Pierce with 14, and Derek Wolfe with 11. That was an amazing group, and I wish I'd checked the stats before Calais Campbell retired, because he probably had a similar amount of tackles for loss and probably led the team in sacks. But now leading the team in sacks was Tyus Bowser with 8. That's not a great amount of sacks. Derek Wolfe had 4, Odafe Owe had 3, Michael Pierce had 2. Yeah, that's not ideal. In terms of picks, Josh Bynes with 3. I'm going to re-sign him. He was pretty good. Even though he's old and his overall isn't great, he was really good. 50 tackles, 5 tackles for loss, half a sack, 3 picks, 3 pass deflections. That's a really good year, especially being only the number 2 linebacker. Marlon Humphrey had 3 picks, Patrick Queen had 2, Chuck Clark had 2, and Marcus Peters had 2. Justin Tucker was almost perfect, and the punter we signed was whatever. So overall, stats-wise, this team was good in some areas, but pretty bad in some areas, like throwing picks and the sacks weren't ideal, but we got a lot of interceptions. Kyler Murray wins MVP. Offensive Rookie of the Year for the AFC goes to Josh Allen. Lamar comes in at number 5. Defensive Player of the Year, no Ravens it looks like. Offensive Rookie of the Year goes to Najee Harris, who I was just talking shit about, I'm sorry. Don't hurt me, Steelers fans. Rashad Bateman comes in at number 9, very cool. Defensive Rookie of the Year. Odafe Owe actually beats Kyle Hamilton, that's surprising. He comes in at number 6, Kyle Hamilton at 7. Lamar at number 7 for Best QB, even though he was 5 for Offensive Player of the Year, whatever. I want to see if... Yeah, Devin Duvernay, number 4 for Best Receiver, so... Hopefully he develops in this offseason. Maybe he'll get an upgrade in dev. I don't know. But let's re-sign Josh Bynes real quick because he was very good this year. Assuming he takes this, which he doesn't. Fuck you. I guess we'll move on from him. And the rest of these players, I guess I'll re-sign Tristan Colon Castillo, whatever. And that's it. The rest of these guys can go. So I will see you guys in free agency. Here in free agency, the best player is Jesse Bates, but we really don't need a safety at all. I mean, safety's probably one of the best positions on this team. Typically with my rosters, a lot of players don't become free agents when they should, so that's kind of weird. But looking at receiver, I might get one of these players. Let's try and bring in Jacoby Myers. I don't know if I've ever tried to bring him in a rebuild. Actually, I might have. But we'll bring him in about $13 million a year. Actually, I don't know for sure if he'll accept that, but we'll try to. We really don't need to do much in free agency here. I mean, the team is kind of already good. I just feel like we kind of need a little extra. We'll try and get an extra piece or two, or maybe a few. We'll see. There aren't any good pass rushers here, unfortunately. I mean, Romeo Okwara is good, but he'll probably drop if we move him to linebacker, so I'm not gonna. So yeah, it looks like we'll mostly just wait until the draft to get some players this offseason. Alright, Jacoby Myers does accept. So that's actually a pretty big upgrade to our receiving core. He's gonna be the number 1 now. So now our receiving group is Jacoby Myers, Rashad Bateman, and Devin Duvernay, who just had an 1,100 yard, 11 touchdown season. So overall, this receiving group is looking a lot better. And let's get into the 2023 NFL Draft. Here in the 2023 NFL Draft, the Lions have the number 1 and number 3 overall picks. So did the Rams do bad this year? Or, yeah, that's what first round pick they have. I guess the Rams were really bad this year. Either getting the number 1 or number 3 pick. That's interesting. But we have the number 11 pick. And I think what I'm going to look at is definitely some kind of linebacker or edge. So either way, we're probably going to be taking a linebacker here. So I'm going to try to look for a good player. Alright, so the linebackers in this class aren't great, and there is a good edge rusher, but we don't really need edge. I mean, we have David Ojabo as a backup. We have 2 solid starters, although this guy does look very good. We really just don't need edge at all. And what I want to go with is corner. Unfortunately, instead of scouting, like, you know, their full coverage stats for most of these players, it decides to scout shit like injury when we don't have injuries on. Like, I swear to God, it would rather scout, like, what kind of fucking sandwich they like over their actual, like, stats. It's really annoying, but I think the best player here might be Dwight Huffman. He's 6'3", 188, so he's built like an absolute string bean or something. He ran a 4.42 at the combine and put up 23 reps on the bench. Goddamn. So he's lanky, pretty fast, and really strong. Do we have a Richard Sherman here? Question mark? No, Richard Sherman was way bigger than 188, but still. What I know of him looks solid. I mean, he's quick, strong, good in zone coverage, good in run defense, it looks like. So let's take him. And he does have hidden dev. He's 6'3" with 94 speed and 73 strength. That is disgusting. Alright, and with our second round pick, I think I'm gonna take Kadron Carr? I don't know how you say that name, but we'll just call him Carr. He ran a 4.51 at the combine, 4.44 at his pro day. That is disgustingly fast for a linebacker, obviously. Not the strongest. 22 reps is pretty good, though. Just not the strongest, I guess. A awareness, B finesse moves, A impact block, only D pursuit, which is concerning. But overall, he's fast. He's relatively strong. He has good awareness. Seems like a good player to me, and he has normal depth. I want to die. So yeah, the corner was stronger than him, but he is a very fast linebacker. We basically just drafted Patrick Queen, if you think about it. Just this guy doesn't have a dev trait, which is unfortunate, but yeah, we drafted Patrick Queen too. Fun. Alright, and I think the last pick I'm going to take before I just sim the rest out is going to be Abdul Poole, which is an elite name. He's 6'5", 319, 23 years old out of Southern Miss. That's a bit older than I would like. I mean, I like MILFs, but in Madden, older players are kind of meh. 35 reps on the bench, which was second for centers. That's amazing. I really like the A run block. Everything else is at least solid other than run block finesse. So he's definitely more of a powerful player, if you couldn't already tell that from his really good bench press time, or not bench press time, I'm stupid. Bench press reps. That's what I'm trying to say. So yeah, let's take, all right, and he does unfortunately have normal dev. I was hoping he would have at least star or something, because typically players who have a really good stat, but then look meh, everything else, are gonna have star dev, but not Abdul Poole, apparently. Alright, so here's a recap of the draft. It looks like Dwight Huffman is a very good player. Obviously, he has hidden dev, 6'3", only 188 pounds though, which is weird. But yeah, that 94 speed, 95 excel. He has good zone coverage, 77. Decent catching, good hit power, good strength. Overall, really good corner. He's going to be our number 3 this year. Kadron Carr, or I don't know how to say that name, but he is a 72 overall. 90 speed, 90 excel, 80 or 79 pursuit, 81 tackle, 79 hit power. Okay in coverage, good impact blocking, which I don't really know what that does for defensive players. I guess it kind of does the same, like just running players over when they're trying to block them. I don't know. Abdul Poole is only a 66. I was hoping he would be better. I might swing him out to tackle because he's 6'5". Yeah, that's probably something I'll do. He looks like an okay player though. 78 run block, 75 run block power, 75 pass block power, just not agile at all. And then the CPU drafted a few good players. Daryl Northcutt is a 69 overall normal dev. Josh Wake is built more like a 4-3 defensive end, so I'm going to move him out to linebacker, but he is a pretty good speed rusher, only 21 years old. And Dennis Binns is a solid running back. We'll see if he makes the team. He probably will, but he's a solid player. And it drafted another center. Great. So yeah, overall, pretty good draft. And let's get into year number 2 of the rebuild. Alright, here's a look at the team going into year number 2 of the rebuild. No major differences from this team, no major differences with this team compared to the original team. I don't know, I can't sentence right now. Other than Jacoby Myers, he's really our only big get on the offense, and not even that big of a get, to be honest. He's just a nice piece to have. Looking at the defensive side of the ball here, obviously player development on this team, but again, no major difference other than Calais Campbell retiring, and Dwight Huffman is a very good corner, so I'm glad we drafted him. We're gonna do the thing where we rotate Kyle Hamilton and Patrick Queen at sub-linebacker, so it gets Chuck Clark on the field and gets Kadron Carr more snaps, I guess. Also, something interesting I did is I moved Patrick Ricard to defensive tackle, where, if you didn't know, in real life he does play some defensive tackle. I think he made a Pro Bowl and did play defensive tackle there, which was very interesting, but he's not a bad defensive tackle. And while he's there, we can still play him at fullback. If we couldn't, I wouldn't have done that, obviously, but it's just a fun thing to do, so I thought, why not do it? But yeah, a lot of players are developing here. Tyler Linderbaum, Patrick McCarry's developing pretty well. Rashad Bateman, I expect to have a big year. J.K. Dobbins was great last year. The tight end group is good. Kyle Hamilton, Patrick Queen, Odafe Owe are still really young. So yeah, this is a team with a bright future. The specialists I still need to reorder, but I will see you guys at the mid-season point of year number 2. Alright, this is about what I expected. Here at the mid-season point of year number 2, we are 3-4. So it seems like the trend of these rebuilds is year number 1, we do meh. Year number 2, we do terrible, we way underperform, and then year 3, like I said earlier, we do really well. So this is our flop era, if you will, if you want to be cringe about it. But yeah, we should be a lot better than we currently are. We have trade offers for Chuck Clark. I might do this. We don't really have a point in keeping him anymore. Do I keep him? I'm gonna trade him. You're getting traded. You haven't really... Does he need a contract? If he needs a contract, we'll trade him. If he'll be on the team next year, we'll keep him. Okay, he doesn't need a contract. We'll keep him. But speaking of contracts, Lamar is up for one. Okay. 7 years, 266 mil. Sure, he accepts it. Okay, cool. Marcus Peters, I'll re-sign him for 2 years. Hopefully he takes this. We're pretty broke. And then it's just some depth pieces after that. I don't really care for Aaron Wooten. He's just a UDFA that I picked up. Ben Powers is a backup. So the rest of these guys really, unless one of them breaks out this year, I'm not going to re-sign any of them. So we're looking good for this next coming up year. But as for this year, I think I'll just sim the rest of it out. I want to see what the stats are. I want to see who's doing bad, who's doing well. Lamar looks like he's doing all right. 15 touchdowns, only 6 interceptions. That's not a bad year. J.K. Dobbins has 4.6 yards per carry. I'm surprised we're not running more, but all right. Jacoby Myers has almost 400 yards and 8 touchdowns. Rashad Bateman with 371 and 2. I don't want to spend too much time on this. Tyler Linderbaum is doing terribly. The guards are amazing, like last year. Sacks, not many. That's the main problem with this team. Oh my fuck. Through 7 games, Tyus Bowser has 15. He's on pace for like 32 or something. Jesus, okay. So yeah, not much else to really do here other than sim to the end of the year, so that's exactly what I'm going to do, and I will see you guys there. Okay, so at the end of year number 2, we go 8-9 again. That's exactly what I expected. At the midseason point of last year, we were 3-4, and then we finished 8-9. Again, we were 3-4 and we finished 8-9. The rest of the division though was insane. Bengals going 13-4, Browns 11-6, Steelers 11-6. But let's check some season stats for this year. Lamar was actually very good. Lamar did very, very well this year with 3,700 yards, 38 touchdowns, only 11 picks. That was a really, really good year. J.K. Dobbins, again with a similar season to last year, almost 1,200 yards, 4.3 yards per carry, 5 touchdowns, 4 fumbles though is kind of a lot for this game. Lamar with 700 yards and 6 touchdowns. So basically this was the exact same year we had last year. I don't know what this is. It literally just repeated. Jacoby Myers though, Jesus, I expect him to dev up 1,000 yards in 15 touchdowns? That's nice. Rashad Bateman, even though he was our number 1, only had 862 yards. 8 touchdowns is good though. Mark Andrews with 826 yards and 7 touchdowns. Devin Duvernay with only 705. Last year he had 1,111 for yards and then 1-1 for touchdown. Looking at sacks, the line was very good this year. Oh my god. Okay. So one of our linemen let up 0 sacks. That was Kevin Zeitler. Dude, last year it was Tyree Phillips. This year it's Kevin Zeitler. This line is crazy. Ronnie Stanley as a left tackle only let up 5 sacks. He's already 29? That makes me feel old. I mean, in real life, he's not that old, obviously, but just seeing that makes me feel so old. What the hell? Patrick McCarry let up 5 sacks, which was very good as a tackle. Tyler Linderbaum, 3 for his centers, kind of not ideal, but he had 0 in the second half of the year. Tyree Phillips, only 2, very good. Tyus Bowser has 23 tackles for loss. Now, he was on pace for like 30 plus at the midseason point, but 23 is still insane. Michael Pierce had 15, Patrick Queen had 13, Odafe Owe had 11, then a lot of players with close to 10. In terms of sacks, Tyus Bowser has been our most consistent pass rusher so far, with 7.5 sacks. Odafe Owe with 6. Patrick Queen looks like he had a potential Defensive Player of the Year season. That is a crazy stat line. Justin Madubuike had 4. Derek Wolfe had 4. Michael Pierce with 3.5. In terms of interceptions, Marlon Humphrey had 5. Patrick Queen had 4. So this team gets a lot more turnovers than I'm used to. How about forced fumbles? I don't normally check this. Only 1? Okay, well, we get a lot of picks, but not many forced fumbles apparently. Marcus Williams did not do very well. Jesus Christ, that's a terrible stat line. Let's check awards though. So MVP goes to Lamar. I didn't expect that. That wasn't that good of a year. I mean, it was a good year. Maybe it's just because he had so many rushing yards. I mean, he had a good year, but he didn't have a ton of passing yards. I don't know. I'll take it. I won't complain, but I don't know. I don't know if he deserved it. And obviously he wins Offensive Player of the Year too. Defensive Player of the Year. Patrick Queen comes in at 3. I thought he had a chance. Harold Landry gets number 1. David Long in there. That's interesting. No other Ravens though. Offensive Rookie of the Year, I don't even know if we had an Offensive Rookie. Defensive Rookie of the Year goes to Garrison Mobley of the Bills. Dwight Huffman comes in at number 6. Kadron Carr comes in at 8. I still don't know if I'm saying that name right. Somehow Lamar doesn't win best QB, whatever. Jacoby Myers wins best receiver, that's cool. And no other Ravens winning it, although I do see a couple in there, and I see Marlon Humphrey for best DB. Okay, and here's a look at the teams in the playoffs. I think that's missing a game because EA is broken, but the Rams at 8-9 are in there, and the 49ers at 9-8. What happened to that division? What the hell? Okay, well, let's go to the offseason, and we have negative 18 million, so we're gonna have to figure that one out. All right, so the Pittsburgh Steelers beat the San Francisco 49ers in the Super Bowl. That's like a really cool old school Super Bowl. I hate the 49ers, but you know, the Steelers are cool. But here in terms of re-signings, let's see who we have. It should just be the same kind of players. I'll bring back Braden Mann just so I don't have to worry about getting a punter. I don't necessarily want him, but I also don't want to have to worry about getting one because I'm lazy. The rest of these players can just walk. I guess I'll re-sign Harry Adams because he's cheap. I got a Harry Adams. I don't know, there's some joke to be made there, but I'm not funny, so that's all I'm going to do for re-signings, and hopefully there are some good players in free agency this year. We'll see. Oh yeah, and I guess I probably shouldn't be wanting the Steelers to win the Super Bowl because I guess we're the Ravens right now, but whatever. I don't care. I'm not going to go that deep into this. But in free agency, wow. Okay, Aaron Rodgers is here. We don't need him. Kareem Hunt is kind of interesting though. I get Kareem Hunt in my rebuilds a lot, but he's a really good player, especially in this game, so I'm kind of tempted. Unfortunately, no really good receiver here. That's kind of really unfortunate. That really sucks. I do want a defensive end. Should we get JJ Watt? I don't think I've ever gotten JJ Watt. I can't afford JJ Watt. Or I guess I can, but he's not going to sign with us because teams are probably overpaying out the ass for him. I'll try and make some cuts here. Let's see what I can do. Okay, Nick Boyle, he's a good blocking tight end, but that's about it. It would save us $6 million to cut him, so I think I'm gonna do that. Goodbye, Nick Boyle. You've been great. I might re-sign him. We'll see if he's cheap enough. And Derek Wolfe, he's been good. I think I might honestly re-sign him, but it would save us a few million to cut him. So I'm gonna do that. We can find a better D lineman in the draft probably, or right here with JJ Watt if we can get him. So let's see, 110 points. We offered him 1 year, 14 million. That looks like it's gonna work, but we would have to see. Uchenna Nwosu has Superstar X Factor. Okay. He must have been going off. Quick tip for everyone, if you see a player in here that has dev'd up super far, you should go for them because it means they've been playing well. That's what I typically try to do. I just don't know if I want to necessarily get him because it would cost 5 years, 68 million. So yeah, no, I'm good. Really, the only player I'm going after here is JJ Watt. I'm offering Kareem Hunt the rest of the money I have left, but we're behind the Texans here. We're offering him 4 years, 25 mil. That's the best I can do. So if he takes it, that's cool, but we already kind of have running backs, so it would just be an upgrade, but it's not necessarily. That's a lot of necessary, but let's sim a week and hopefully at least JJ Watt signs with us. Okay, and we do get JJ Watt here, so that's actually a pretty huge upgrade. I could kind of see him on the Ravens, to be honest, like later in his career, maybe at this time. So if you're watching this in the future and JJ Watt is actually there, then I'm just a god, I guess. I don't know. But we're about to get into the draft. I think what I'm going to look for is maybe, I don't know, a receiver, a D lineman. We don't really have that many needs. Maybe like a corner, a linebacker. Yeah, we're looking pretty good. So let's get into the draft and hopefully there's some good players at positions of need for us. Okay, so here in the 2024 NFL draft, I don't know what's going wrong with the Lions, but they have the #1 pick again. I'm glad we're not rebuilding the Lions again, but let's go to our pick. We have number 16. Really what I'm going to look for here is edge, receiver, maybe interior O-lineman, even though they've been playing well. D lineman and corner are going to be the main looks here, so hopefully there's some good ones. Let's find out. Okay, so really the only player here that would even be an upgrade is Logan Bailey. He is a guard. We have him fully scouted. I never bothered to change the positions of what it scouts because honestly, it's kind of confusing and very time consuming. But Logan Bailey is 6'2", 320 pounds, so he got that Puna Ford build out here. He's 22 pounds, left-handed, just like me for real out of Oklahoma. He ran a 5.12 at the combine, put up 34 bench reps, and he has quite a few A's for his stats. The only bad stat is run block power, but well, I guess that's the most important stat for a Ravens lineman. Whatever, we'll take him anyways. Logan Bailey. He has normal development. I want to die. He'll still probably be a good player, but that normal dev really sucks. He'll start immediately unless he's really bad overall. He'll probably start over Tyree Phillips, even though Tyree Phillips was good. I just want to get a better overall in there, so pretty good player. We'll see if he's good this year. I hope he is. All right, and just because I don't know what else to go with, I'm going to go Rashad Williams. He's 6'4", 315, only 21 years old, out of Oregon State. He ran a 4.82 at 315 pounds, which is hot. Only 29 reps, but that's not bad. That's good, but I thought he would have a few more being 315 pounds. He has A pursuit, which is very intriguing. We don't know what his power moves is because EA. I'm expecting it to be pretty good. B tackle. We don't know a lot of his important stats, but let's take him. He has normal dev. I am depressed, but he still looks like a pretty good player. I don't know why we're hitting the normal devs here. I guess I can't complain too much because these are just kind of depth pieces, but I'm just going to sim out the rest of the draft. It doesn't seem like I'm hitting, and there aren't many needs for this team, so let's just sim the rest of this draft out. Alright, here's a recap of the draft. Logan Bailey is a 74 overall. That's pretty much exactly what I expected him to be. He has very good run block finesse, and everything else is at least solid, so I'm pretty happy with that. His run block power isn't ideal. It's a base 70, but everything else is solid. I'm not going to spend too much time on this recap, but Rashad Williams is a 71 overall, which is good, 78 power moves, so I was right, he does have good power moves. It took Nolan Huff, normal dev, but he is definitely a go up and get it type of receiver, no route running at all, just a complete 50-50 ball type of receiver, probably not going to get much playing time. And we'll see the rest of the dev traits later. Dalton Howard, it looks like we're just hitting all normal devs in this draft, but he is a good player, good tackle, good block shed. Okay power moves, okay speed, good strength. And yeah, it took a few good players later, so let's get into the start of the third and final year. Alright, here is a look at the team going into the third and final year of the rebuild. I don't know why my game is locked. Okay, there we go. Logan Bailey got a not dev up scenario, but a development scenario, I guess, like camp standout or something from Ronnie Stanley, so thank you for that. He got 10,000 XP but only went up 1 overall. I thought it was going to be more, but I will definitely take it. The receiving core is looking a lot better than when we started, but that's probably still the weakest point of the team, but it's definitely not bad. It's an okay group. We just don't have a true number one receiver, but if there's any team to have bad receivers and be okay with it, it is definitely the Baltimore Ravens. J.K. Dobbins has developed pretty well. He's put up 2 1,100-yard seasons, so that's pretty good. Lamar has been great. He won an MVP last year, so he's now a 2-time MVP. David Ojabo hasn't really developed that much. I guess I haven't given him too much of an opportunity, but he's been good. Should I play him this year? No, we'll let him be a third piece. I don't want to risk a potential breakout year from a better player, so we'll see. But yeah, David Ojabo hasn't been amazing, just okay, I guess. The cornerback room is great with Marlon Humphrey developing up to a 93 now, Marcus Peters, and the second year now player, Dwight Huffman, is a great corner. The safety group hasn't developed a whole lot. Marcus Williams has been pretty terrible, but Kyle Hamilton and Chuck Clark have been good. Patrick Queen has been great, almost winning Defensive Player of the Year last year. I thought he should have, but he didn't. D-line is great now with the addition of J.J. Watt. We'll see how he does. Hopefully he can bring some pressure. But yeah, nothing really left to do here other than sim to the end of the year, or mid-season point. And let's see how this team is doing. Hopefully we can make the playoffs finally. Alright, here at the mid-season point of year number 3, we are 6-1. Finally. See what I said? First year we're meh, second year we way underperformed, third year is finally our year. I don't know why that's always how it is. I guess it's just how Madden Sim is set up. But Lamar is having an amazing year. He has an upgrade. Let's go into Improviser. It'll be a 96 Improviser. Very cool. But he's having an amazing year. 14 touchdowns, only 3 picks. J.K. Dobbins is going off. 647 yards already with 5 touchdowns, 0 fumbles. Jacoby Myers already having 600 yards. I'll let the CPU upgrade him later. But no other receiver is really doing anything. In terms of blocking, the tackles are meh. but the interior is great. And Tyus Bowser, 7.5 sacks already, but not many tackles for loss. I don't know why the stats are so like bipolar in this game, and only 2 interceptions. So both years of this rebuild, we've had a ton of tackles for loss, not many sacks, and a ton of picks. This year we have no tackles for loss, more sacks than we've had, and no picks. I don't get this game. It makes 0 sense. Like in real life, teams can be this bipolar, but that's due to a huge staff change or a huge roster change. We haven't changed either here. We've added a couple players and no staff changes, so I don't get it. I didn't want to click this because normally these fuck up the flow of the season, so if we miss the playoffs, that's probably what it's going to be, because we're going to get caught by the trap game. But I wanted to click this breakout player. Who's this going to be? It is Kyle Hamilton. Okay, I feel it. So yeah, just hold him to a certain amount of yards or get tackles for loss. I don't know, I don't care. Let's see if we can get that, and then I'll sim to the end of the season. Okay, we smoke the Rams. I thought we were gonna lose that. I'll do the thing. We'll take the I think XP boost. Is that what it does? Yeah, every player gets 1,000 XP. Not bad. And I want to see if Kyle Hamilton got his upgrade. No, he did not. Pretty quiet game. Okay, that's unfortunate. But we still smoke the Rams. Smoking on that Rams pack. So let's sim to the end of the year, and hopefully we can finally make the playoffs. If we lose it, or if we miss, I will be shocked. But now we probably will, now that I said that. Alright, so before I reveal the results for the third and final year, you can probably guess what the results were from our upgrade points. I'm going to take this opportunity to plug myself, of course. If you've made it this far in the video and you still haven't subscribed and liked the video, what are you doing? Like, clearly you're enjoying it if you're here, so, you know, be sure to do those things. Turn on notifications for my channel so you can get notified anytime I upload. All those things help me out more than you could imagine. But yeah, the team is looking great here, and let's reveal how we did this year. We went 14-3, getting a bye week for the wild card and winning the division. So let's check some season stats out. I expect them to be pretty crazy. So Lamar, honestly, okay, maybe his best year, but the touchdown numbers weren't as good as they have been. 3,700 yards, which is about what he's been getting. 31 touchdowns, only 6 interceptions. That's really good. 70% completion percentage. J.K. Dobbins, oh my god. Playing up to a 90 right now. 1,300, almost 1,400 yards. 16 touchdowns, 0 fumbles. Lamar with 700 yards and 10 touchdowns, 0 fumbles. Gus the Bus Edwards with 300 yards and 13 touchdowns. How many rushing touchdowns is that? Is that 39 rushing touchdowns? I think so. That is insane. Jacoby Myers with 1,200 yards and 12 touchdowns. Looks like 12 was his number this year. I can't speak right now. I don't know why. Mark Andrews with 767 yards and 3 touchdowns. Rashad Bateman. See what I mean? Rashad Bateman with 700 yards and 6 touchdowns. Devin Duvernay, which is a very fun name, almost 600 yards and 6 touchdowns. Looking in terms of blocking, Patrick McCarry was our worst lineman, but still wasn't bad necessarily. Well, it wasn't great, but not the worst I've seen. 9 sacks. Ronnie Stanley has been amazing in these last 2 years, letting up only a combined 13 sacks, I think it was, or 12, something like that. Tyler Linderbaum only letting up 2 sacks. Logan Bailey only letting up 2, and Kevin Zeitler, oh my god, 0 sacks on the year. I know I spend more time looking at blocking stats than most people do. I just think it's very important to team success, especially in Madden, well, and real life too. Not many tackles this year, which is kind of a good thing. It means our defense wasn't on the field too much. 94 tackles for Patrick Queen. Tyus Bowser, I see, had a monster year, but we'll get to that in a second. 12 tackles for loss from him. 11 tackles for loss from J.J. Watt. I keep wanting to say T.J. Watt, and 10 for Michael Pierce. And in terms of sacks, I am very glad I didn't bench any of these players for David Ojabo. Tyus Bowser had 14.5 sacks. He's been a monster in this rebuild. Odafe Owe with 10, and then J.J. Watt only had 4, Michael Pierce had 5. How does J.J. Watt get out-sacked by a nose tackle? I don't know, dude. Dwight Huffman had 4 picks, so he finally had a breakout year. I say finally like it's not his second year. Marcus Peters had 3 picks, and overall, pretty good pick numbers. Nobody had 1, but everyone had 2. That's a really interesting thing. I don't think I've ever seen that. But yeah, overall, very good year. Let's see if we won any awards. I want to just get into the playoffs, though. So Lamar wins his, I guess, technically 3rd MVP. Wow. He wins Offensive Player of the Year. Obviously, no other Ravens. Defensive Player of the Year. Tyus Bowser isn't higher. with 12 tackles for loss and 14.5 sacks. I mean, I'm glad he's up there, but I feel like he should have been way higher. Offensive Rookie of the Year, I don't think we had any get playing time. And Defensive Rookie of the Year, kind of same deal. Best QB goes to Lamar. Running back, no. J.K. Dobbins? No, he's at number 7. Okay, best receiver, Jacoby Myers, number 4. Ronnie Stanley wins best O-lineman. Tyler Linderbaum comes in at number 3. I think that should have gone to Kevin Zeitler, though, to be honest. Best D-lineman, no. Ravens, almost said Browns. Best linebacker, Tyus Bowser comes in at 5. Best DB, the one guy comes in at number 10, Dwight Huffman. I'm so bad at remembering drafted players' names. I don't know why, but let's get into the playoffs here. Enough dilly-dallying, if you want to be white with it, I guess. I don't know. We have some upgrades here. We'll just auto-upgrade them. I don't really give a fuck. So let's get into the next week for our first playoff game. Hopefully we're taking on not too good of a team. We're taking on maybe the best team we could have gotten placed up against. It is the Cincinnati Bengals. They're at an 87 overall to our 85. So if we lose this has been a very good rebuild. I wouldn't be too disappointed if we lose this because they are a better team, but I'll still be disappointed because I feel like we should win with the MVP at QB. So nothing else to really do except sim this out. Hopefully we can get a win. If we don't, I'm going to be disappointed. And we get a win, 34-31. Okay, cool. I'm not going to click on the playoff blizzard. I don't care. But here we're taking on the LA Chargers, who we have a 1 overall advantage on. I don't even know if overall matters in this game anymore. It just seems completely random. But we are 14-3 to their 10-7, so we should theoretically win this one. We probably won't. It looks like Joey Bosa had 19 sacks and 3 picks. That's a really weird stat line for him, but he was a monster. Let's just sim this out. Hopefully we can get a dub. And we do, winning 27-10. Okay, cool. I feel like I should show that I don't force wins, because this seems kind of sus that it always happens that in the 3rd year we do well. Yeah, no any other than the bye week, obviously, but that's just, it just says home for some reason. I don't know. And then no force wins here. So let's take on the, I think it was Green Bay Packers in the Super Bowl. So here we're in the Pro Bowl. Let's just sim the week. So it is literally Super Bowl win or bust here. If we don't win the Super Bowl, then it sucks to be us. So we have to take on the Green Bay Packers. Let's go slot for Jalen Armour-Davis. He's been all right for this rebuild, considering he's been the number 4 the whole time. Plus 5 awareness, Jesus. But yeah, he's developing into a pretty good player, 75 overall. So let's do some auto upgrades there. Lamar is almost at a 99, that's crazy. Let's take one final look at the roster, just a quick one, just to see some huge breakouts here. You know, Mark Andrews playing up to a 99, Lamar playing up to a 99, J.K. Dobbins up to a 91. I didn't mean to click on Logan Bailey, but he's a GOAT too. Stanley up to a 96, Linderbaum up to a 90. Jacoby Myers goes up to Superstar Dev. Tyus Bowser somehow doesn't get Superstar Dev, but he's been a monster. Marcus Williams up to a 92, even though he's been disappointing. Patrick Queen up to an 86. So yeah, overall this team has been amazing, but finally, let's sim out the Super Bowl again. If you haven't already, be sure to like, sub, turn on notifications. Let me know what you thought of this rebuild. Let me know what to do next. Getting that out of the way, because I know people will click off right after we sim out the Super Bowl, so be sure to do all that. Let's see if we can take down the Green Bay Packers. And we do, 24-21, so the Baltimore Ravens are Super Bowl champions. Let's check the stats for that game. So Jordan Love is their quarterback, and he was very good. He outplayed Lamar by quite a bit. 3 touchdowns, no picks. Lamar got sacked 3 times. Jordan Love got sacked 0 times. So we had no pressure. And we got outplayed in terms of QB. I have no idea how we won that game, but we did. For rushing, J.K. Dobbins was good. Aaron Jones was also good, just didn't get as many touches. Jacoby Myers had a very good game. I don't know who Super Bowl MVP would have been. Patrick McCarry was terrible. Yeah, I have no idea who MVP would have been. Maybe J.K. Dobbins? Probably J.K. Dobbins, right? Yeah. It probably went to him. I don't know. I think there's some way to check that, right? Because I'm actually kind of curious now. Okay, this is how you check it. So, Kyle Hamilton wins Super Bowl MVP. That's really cool. Okay. So I am very happy with the outcome of this rebuild. That was a great 3rd year, going 14-3 and taking down the dirty Green Bay Packers in the Super Bowl. But if you enjoyed today's rebuild, be sure to, again, I'm going to plug, drop a like, a sub, turn on notifications. All that helps me out a ton. The support lately has been really, really insane. I'm trying to grow this channel as much as I can. I don't have the most time in the world because I have a job and shit, obviously, but just doing this shit when I get free time. So Thank you so much for watching if you made it all the way through. I appreciate you a ton, and I will see you guys again in the next video. Goodbye.